what do you guys think? Pavlovich versus Aspinall as opposed to Jones versus Stipe, right? It's an extremely star-driven sport. Like, the sport of MMA doesn't just work. Other people have thought it had, and those people are largely broken out of business. So I don't take any pleasure in. I'm just sharing for you. It's a very star-driven sport. There was a time when if you set up a cage and brought two guys, that was enough. Like, that appeal of, whoa, what is going on here? That time actually lasted for a while. There's 5 and 6 events a year, so it still had its appeal, right? Supply and demand still kicked in. But when you were doing 40-plus events a year, and there's multiple organizations doing that, all of a sudden you got 2 a week. I'm just sharing for you. It's a star-driven business, but I want to know. Right, Stipe and Jones, who are clearly stars. Aspinall and Sergi, who are clearly not. But they're on the rise, and we understand that. I feel as though this is a better card. I feel as though it's a better offering. I want to be very respectful. Stipe just lost out on something. I don't take any pleasure in that. And Jon Jones is hurt. I take zero pleasure in that. So I'm attempting to sidestep that, and I realize there could be a callousness. I ask your forgiveness in advance to let me just speak freely. Because, as the golden rule states, the show must go on, and the show will go on. So we've got the most compelling heavyweight fight, fill in the blank, guys, in a decade? Is that an exaggeration? It's the most compelling heavyweight fight of the year. Now, that would not be debatable. Considering we've only had one heavyweight fight where they put a belt up in the entire year, and the disaster that turned out to be from a competitive standpoint versus two guys, this is interesting. Sergi Pavlovich has stopped the last 6 guys. I don't know what any one of those 6 guys has to offer that Tom doesn't. I don't know. It would seem as though Sergi has proven that he can solve this and any problem. It would seem, but Aspinall is the favorite. And I personally like Aspinall in this fight. Tom Aspinall was very clear to ask for Sergi Pavlovich. Very clear. Tom Aspinall went right out to Paris. He tried to set something up. He had a great thing going. It was the best storyline going in the heavyweight division. It was so needed and so important. Ciryl Gane delivers at home. He's got the home audience. He's going to be the face. Aspinall's the British guy that's came over causing problems from the front row. He's going to be the heel. The crowd's going to cheer. The crowd's going to boo. Absolutely everything was set. Ciryl Gane gave it all back. Didn't even say his name. Ciryl Gane, who is one half of the biggest letdown in sports history, in this company's entire history, there has never been a fight with larger expectations that failed to reach those expectations more than Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane. That is the single financial biggest letdown and disappointment in the history of the UFC. Are you guys aware of that? Ciryl Gane almost matched that with the air that he sucked out of the balloon by bombing that spot with Aspinall. The only side was there was nothing to sell there. There was just a potential down the road to sell. So, right, it doesn't really get put on your bottom line before it's put on your top line, and it wasn't there. But I share that with you because this is the most compelling fight. Tom Aspinall is 1-1 in his last 2, but he's got reputation. He's got people from the gym that are seeing him. He has experts and Hall of Famers such as Michael Bisping who do have an inside look behind the curtain as to what this guy is doing within his training, within his team, within his coaches. And frankly, I see it too. I don't care that he's 1-1 in his last 2. He has a mentality. That's a main event fighter. Sergi Pavlovich is now a main event fighter. Sergi did not sell out an arena, but he did do a main event. Tom Aspinall sold out the O2. So you have very different guys. But 1-1 in your last 2 versus 6 straight, all inside of 5 minutes. They're just impressive. I'm just trying to set the stage for you guys that we don't have anything like this at heavyweight. Even the previous fight of Jon Jones versus Stipe, even that match, that got delayed and that got pushed, and they tried to make that in December of last year. They wanted to make it in March, but Stipe wasn't invited for whatever reason. Then both Jon and Stipe did everything in their power. They even put out digital artwork on social media. I mean, that scam is 100% effective. The scam of making your own artwork and putting UFC as though the UFC did it and then releasing it on social media and then having the UFC find out about it, not even knowing it was done, and having them yank it back. That scam has never not worked except one time. And it's when Stipe and Jon tried to do it on International Fight Week, the biggest event of the year. Your big fight, your heavyweights, and they tried to do it. And it was deflected. They never had you guys. They never had you guys. They still don't have you guys. When that card was put together and announced and tickets went on sale, they had to strengthen that card by rumoring a possible Colby Covington versus Leon. Let that rumor go, even though they knew it wasn't going to be true because it was so tough to do. And then they finally had to bring in a co-main event. It was a world title fight. I mean, they had to strengthen the card. The heavyweights couldn't do enough to move it on their own. This is just the truth. Those guys are awesome. By the way, I want to see that fight. I understand. But you guys never demanded it, and I don't know why. I think you guys were like me. I think you all wanted to see it too. I never demanded it either. When it didn't happen in December, I wasn't greatly disappointed. When it didn't happen in March, I wasn't greatly disappointed. When they said it was going to happen in International Fight Week, I didn't get full of excitement. I've always been glad. I'll be glad the next time. But it was never demanded by you. Never. Never. The only reason they didn't fight on International Fight Week is when they put that out, the scam that has never failed, it has a 100% accuracy. 100%. You guys didn't get behind it. So I'm just setting the stage to try to tell you why I'm asking the question. I'm asking you very legitimately, are you more happy with Sergey and Aspinall? And in terms of star power, I would get where you're not. But in terms of understanding, that is the future. And you could put Ciryl Gane in there. Ciryl Gane's a young guy, and he's very talented. I always give him a hard time, but I give him a hard. He's a good-looking guy. He's cool. People like him. He can fight. Like, he can take it. I know I give him a hard time. He's had some flops, but he's a very skilled guy with a very good record. You start working Derek Lewis in there. Right? You've got some real heavyweights versus two guys in Jones and Stipe who have both said, whether they meant it or not, but they both said we're going to retire. Both said this is it. So now when you have to take a guy at his word, you now don't have a debate about who was yesterday versus who is tomorrow. You have two guys in the sunset and twilight of their career at a minimum. Right? Even if they took it back, so we're not going to retire. Well, nobody does. Nobody's ever done with this sport. But everybody wakes up one day and finds out this sport is done with them. So you have two guys that represented that. Perhaps there was some nostalgia and some loose ends, and let's get it tied up, and what the hell, we don't have anything better to do. Versus what is clearly going to represent the next era, which could last up to a decade. That's probably a little bit long. But very realistic, it's going to last half a decade. And it just feels like, to me, that we have a better fight. It just feels like we had a better fight. It felt like last week, Charles Oliveira, who was a 4-1 dog, people were not clamoring for that fight. Charles didn't want to do the fight. He found a way out of the fight. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. Then you put Volkanovski in there, and all of a sudden you got a 2-1 spread. All of a sudden your fight, just by the numbers at DraftKings, just got twice as competitive. It felt like these last-minute adjustments have gotten better, and they've gotten stronger. And I realize from a star power standpoint, I'm not attempting to say that Sergey and Tom, I do understand it. There's a reason it went from main down to co-main. But as far as a compelling match, where the winner is up in the air, the what ifs are abundant, which nothing is more fun than speculation. Nothing in this sport is more fun than guessing and having meaningful arguments with people prior to the contest. This entire sport is not about punches and kicks and takedowns. The entire thing, the entire industry, the difference between the executives and the people that work on the first floor is the first floor thinks it's about punches and kicks, and the executives understand it's about conflict and conflict resolution. That's what we're doing here. I think if you look at it from a perspective of what is now and what is next, there's no comparison. I think if you're looking at star power alone, of course, Jones and Stipe was the top of the bill. But I am curious what you think, because you never demanded, you never got fully behind the idea of Jones versus Stipe. So now that that's off and this is on, which do you like more?